Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Leap. I have to admit, I was not really looking forward to this film. While I was excited to have another kind of small indie film from a foreign country coming on into the US, those trailers did absolutely nothing for me. And my big problem was that our main character seemed super rude and super unlikable. So I am very happy to report back. I was really surprised with how much I enjoyed this film. I really liked it. So let's go ahead and talk about the many things it does well. The biggest positive of this film is that it does have so much heart. It is oozing with personality and with heart. And while it goes through a classic formula, it's so hard to resist being swept up in this story, in this journey. And by the end, several people in my audience were actually audibly cheering and clapping. So it really moved the kids and parents alike that saw this with me. And I think it was just such a charming, fun, heart-filled adventure. And I mentioned there in the opening that the main character seemed very unlikable from the marketing material. But the film handles her, it handles the people that run the orphanage, it really handles almost all of the characters here so well. Almost none of the characters that start out seeming like rude and mean end up staying like that one note and one dimensional, which I think was fantastic. We'll get to the one major character who doesn't have any sort of arc in the negatives, but most everybody has some growth, including our main girl. And in the setting, it wasn't nearly as abrasive and entitled and rude as it seemed. It was much more about upbringing. It was much more about this girl was raised in a not great environment. Maybe she doesn't have the best home training, but she also has a really nice development to her character. As for the animation itself, I thought it was really nice. As with a lot of the foreign animation, the face work I thought sometimes was a bit sketchy, especially the mouth work and the reworking of the mouth to fit the words. But the humans looked great. They were very expressive and they looked wonderful. Some of the motions were a little less than fluid, but the background and the settings were stunning. So I would say overall the animation really worked well. I thought it was a beautiful film to look at. And a good portion of our voice cast does a very good job, with the highlight personally being Nat Wolff as our main male character. I thought he was fantastic. I loved his character and I loved his vocal work there. But most all of the vocal cast did a good job, with a big notable exception again, and we'll get to that character in the negatives. And the last thing I really want to touch on as positive here is the cinematography. This film is shot as if it were a live action film, which I thought was a great stance to take. And it looked beautiful. We had establishing shots, landscape shots, a lot of different close-ins on the characters, different angles. I really loved the camera work that was done for this animated film. It made it stand out. It really gave it an air of sophistication, and I thought it was fantastic. As for those negatives, there are a few here that stood out. The first being Elle Fanning voicing our lead character. Elle Fanning has really taken off recently, and I think she is really good in a certain type of role. It is not, however, a super chipper, super vibrant, young girl type of role. That's not what Elle Fanning really does. That's not what she's been asked to do in her career. And apparently it's not what she excels at. I also don't think she really excels at voice work either. She was never able to really give our main character, I think, the vibrance and the color that she needed. And it was almost wholly due to the voice work. And I think those lines that I thought came off as just rude and bratty were a lot to do with Elle Fanning's vocal rather than the character as it was written or animated. Thankfully, the character was written and animated so well that I think overall they overcame it. I just wish they would have hired somebody else on to do that vocal work. And that one character I had a big problem with was our villain. It was a mother of one of the dancers trying to get this part, and she was not only one note, but just straight up like old school cartoony cartoon villain. In that sense, there was no subtlety. They just smacked you over the head. She didn't feel in the slightest a real character. And it became more and more evident as the other characters who started off kind of like hard-nosed or started off seeming villainous and mean slowly had development and slowly unveiled deeper levels to them and felt like actual people. The villain just kind of stayed like straight on over the top evil. And my final real big negative is that there's just kind of like a lot of duds in the humor department. I think there are some charming bits of humor, but there are also just like potty humor jokes thrown in, or just kind of like, ugh, what is this? They're sprinkled in regularly throughout where we just get these duds of jokes that don't even come anywhere near landing. And I also wish we had had more time with the periphery characters. There was a couple of dancers that she befriends at the studio that were so wonderful. There was one little girl in particular who has some of the funniest lines in the film. She's fantastic, but she just isn't given very much to do. And really none of the side characters are, including Nat Wolff's character, and he's the lead male here. I kind of wish he was our main character a little bit, but I certainly wish we had spent more time with him and kind of stuck around him a little bit more, because he was just so charming and so endearing. So, overall, Leap follows a tried and true formula. It doesn't break any ground when it comes to storytelling, but it executes the storytelling so well and adds so many beautiful things to the animation. It's well written, beautifully animated, and is completely infectious by the end of the film. This turned out to be one of the biggest pleasant surprises for me of the entirety of 2017. Maybe because I just really thought those trailers were bad, but also because I really enjoyed myself here. So I say this deserves a full price ticket. This is one of the better animated films I've seen this year, one of the better family films I've seen this year. I think your kids will laugh, I think parents will laugh, and everybody will leave with a big smile on their face. So it is worth that full price ticket. So that is my review of Leap. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Leap? Have you already seen it? Did you see it while it was still called Ballerina? Let me know your thoughts if you have down below. And what is your favorite movie that revolves around dancing? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!